relatively small field for a longish race. 13 athletes out there. We're looking for 12:54 pace, which means these men will have to hang in there with the pacemaker in the early stages. Craig Novak. I wonder who will be up for it. Certainly, athletes of the calibre of Bo Ahmed have shown enormous consistency, Steve, this last 2 or 3 years. He ran a very fast 10,000 in San Juan Capistrano in California back on the 6th of March. So, great early season form from him.
Yeah, great meet that one. Brad Fisher winning on 10,000 metres in a very, very quick time American record it was. There's a whole bunch of records in that race. Yeah, you mentioned the pace, Tim, and whether or not the likes of Ahmed, Chalimo, or in particular Barrega want to go with this, because it's 62-second laps are not easy for anybody. But when you look at they've asked Bergen to Bethel Bergen, who's hugely experienced, I'm not sure how many laps he can go at that pace, and whether or not anyone's going to pick it up. It's chilly. It's actually reasonable running conditions, not as good as last night when it was perfect last night. A little warmer, but it is chilly. It's a bit of a breeze down there, not as bad as we were expecting, as we said. We should mention the lights, though. I'm not sure they're showing up on the screen quite as much. There are wave lights being used here for the athletes, so they're the purple lights right alongside the pacemakers there, trying to keep them on track, and they're managing it, as I said there, 62.2, so spot on for Liverpool.
Into the straight for the penultimate time then. Aragawi, Benahu Aragawi. Remember that name, because this is a big performance. If Steve Prefontaine was looking down at this, he'd be nodding his head in approval. This is fabulously brave running from the 21-year-old. The bell sounds, 11:51 at the bell. He's covered that lap at about 63, so he's slowing marginally. But the crowd are loving this. They're on their feet on this first bend.
He's got a chance of getting into the world top 20 ever times, Tim, if he can produce a big last 200 metres, and he's doing his best, and the crowd are doing their best. They're on their feet in the back straight and here in the home straight. He's got just over 200 to go. He's got a chance of sub 12:50.
200 metres to run for the leader, 300 metres to run for the chasing pack. Barrega, the Olympic 10,000 metre champion, was never really in the race against this young man. Benahu Aragawi, right beside us here above the finish line in the main stand. The crowd, as a man, rise to their feet to roar him home. 50 metres to go. Watch the clock. It's going to be fabulously fast. Way under 13 minutes. Will it be under 12:50? So close. 12:50.05. It's a personal best by over 18 seconds. And it is a new meeting record too, by some 6 seconds. Look at the battle for second place. It's a great race too, and Barrega just out-sprinted there as they cross the line. So tight for second place. But they are way back. Tefera was close to it, and second place for him, 13:06. That is some debut for the world indoor 1500 metres champion. Talk about a race within a race. Aragawi looks recovered already, Steve.
Well, he was full of running, almost under 12:50. What a step forward for him. Massive improvement on his previous best of 5,000 metres. But he knew, didn't he? Very early on, he was wanting to, first of all, take the pack, which included these guys here, back to the pacemaker. Then, when they weren't as interested, he took it on, and he went past the pacemaker to Ferrer with a little bit more speed than Barrega in the end there, while they chased them on Ahmed as well. But they're well outside 13 minutes. They'd given up on chasing this guy because he was just too good on the day, and he has really announced himself. Will we see him back? Surely we'll see him back at the World Champs.
Men's 5,000. 12.5 laps of the track as ever. It's a cool evening, perfect for distance running. It's dry and not too warm, probably dropped to about 18-19 degrees at this point. So if the pace is good, and then the race really could be on, and it'll be the Ethiopians with Ahmed, I think, who will dictate how things go with 2-3. The Kenyans trying to hang on, perhaps for as long as they can.
And of course, special resonance of this event here in this stadium. 2 world records set. Saida Wita back in 1987, and then Moses Kiptanui in 1995. So the Stadio Olimpico loves a men's 5,000 metres.
Yeah, and earlier on today I was thinking, if you look at the meeting record, it's actually held by Eliud Kipchoge.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Yeah, I don't know, I can't remember. The big kick when it comes, and we know Kjellcha can kick. He's not the fastest at all, but he's quick enough. Kemeli, similarly, has got a good kick, but not a devastating one. And Krop, and look at Kjellcha. He's making the big move here as they come towards the bell. And we said they've just slowed these three. They're looking at each other. But if you look that perhaps we can get a sub-60, excuse me, on the last lap, then it could be in the mid-1240s. Let's see.
Well, Kjellcha pushing on here with 300 to go. Kemeli and Krop, you just wonder whether they're going to bide their time. Kemeli stride for stride, and now Krop makes his move down the back straight.
Krop the first to go. Kjellcha looks, doesn't look as though he's got too much to offer. This is going to be between the two Kenyans. Kemeli trying to give chase, but it's Krop who managed to come away with the victory in Nairobi. But this would be the biggest one of his career. He's heading for something incredibly quick here, and Krop still hasn't got rid of Kemeli. Can he kick again? Kemeli comes on his shoulder. Has he got anything? There's a yard between them. He comes all the way out into lane 3, and Krop looks over and sees the victory disappearing, because Kemeli's got enough. Kemeli's going to take the win. Watch the clock. 12:46.33. Eliud Kipchoge's meeting record has finally gone. Kjellcha manages to come across the line in third, very tired, but he should be thanked for dragging these guys to what an incredibly quick time that was. And well, we were talking before, I was saying before that how quick could the Ethiopians perhaps go. Barega came through for fourth in the end, but it was Kemeli and Krop who gave us a classic 5,000 metre race. Remember the race in Florence last year when we had Gebriwet and Ingebrigtsen in that brilliant 5,000. Well, we had another one tonight. We couldn't have the meeting in Rome. Last year it was held in Florence, but here in the Olympic Stadium, Kipchoge's record is gone, and how proud will that make Kemeli? And what news that will make in Kenya. 7th fastest of all time. Meeting record, of course, a world lead, but what a great race as well.
Fabulous race, wasn't it? Three of them way clear. Kjellcha looked in pole position, but when he went, well, Krop went first, didn't he? And Kemeli just reeled him in. It wasn't convincing. Krop, you just sensed, hadn't done enough to shake him off. What a sprint, what a finish there from Kemeli. Kenya 1-2. Kjellcha and Barega did recover actually in the end to come home for fourth place, so well done to him. But Kenya, brilliant racing, and very special indeed. In a stadium, remember, that has seen 2 world records in the past in the men's 5,000 metres. Terrific racing.
So we apologise for the loss of pictures from many of you. It's been a crazy evening of weather. The thunderstorms have put paid to the links to the satellite, sent these pictures around the world, so we do apologise for the intermittent coverage. Hopefully we'll be okay from here on in. Well, 40 years ago, Tim was mentioning it earlier on, Dave Moorcroft of Great Britain broke the world record for this event here in Oslo in 1982, almost going under 13 minutes for the first time. And that's still a good time. Anyone running 13 minutes is still right up there in world class. And that's kind of what they're heading for tonight. The pace that's been set. And I wonder if Dave Moorcroft 40 years ago would have said, yeah, 40 years from now they'll have lights to take you round. And at the end of the day, you've still got to run hard and work hard. Other British athlete, one of the British athletes to watch out for, Sam Atkin, who's missed out on the 10,000 metre qualifying time for the Worlds. He did make the Olympic team. Just on the inside of the yellow there, the US-based British athlete. He's been in the US since he was about 18, so it'll be 9-10 years now. And Sam hoping that he can improve what's already been a great year for him at 5,000 metres, but it was indoors where he ran just outside 13 minutes. And he's got himself right up there early on in this outdoor race here.
Well, if nobody's really put the hammer down, he might as well be at the front, and he can control things, Steve. You know that all too well. He can wind it up here, Bekele, or can he? Tavera, we know, is a fabulously fast 1,500 metre runner. So is Meshal at the back of this group, although he's grimacing as they go through the bell.
It's going to need a massive last lap of about 53 seconds. Who's capable of that? Maybe none of them here to get under 13 minutes, but Tefera's waiting. You would have had to kick right from the bell, but they're not doing that. It's Bekele with Tefera, itching to go past him. Mengesha trying to follow these three, just pulling themselves away from the rest. Wale trying to get back on the back of these three. But it's Bekele. Tefera still looks comfortable. Joe Klecker, the American, goes past Rayner of Australia. But it's Tefera on the shoulder of Bekele, and these two maybe have got it between them, but Joe Klecker is moving into third round the top bend and is just trying to close on these two, but Tefera still yet to kick. Bekele goes again into the home straight, looks round, can see that he's there, but has he got enough? And it's Bekele who's going to kick away here. Tefera sat and waited, but he didn't have the legs, and it's Bekele who gets the win just outside 13 minutes. It's an Ethiopian 1-2-3. Because Wale came through on the inside, but Joe Klecker bravely fighting down the home straight, but had to contend with fourth. Well, Bekele took it on, about 600 to go, wound it up. Tefera thought, I've got you, I'm sitting, I'm in the right spot, I'm just going to kick past you, and then he couldn't do anything in the home straight. Bekele came away with a resounding win in the end. Tefera actually gets a personal best to boot, but I still think, like you said, 33.5 time.
Well, Steve, there have been plenty of times quicker than that this year. That was a tactical 5,000 in this day and age, 13:03. I got the last 800 at 1:57, and most of that hard running came in the last 300. It was really swift through that last 200, but Bekele, yeah, certainly had the legs, didn't he? Worlds. Off they go then for 12.5 laps of the track in far from ideal conditions here in Paris, I have to say. Nothing nice about running 5,000 metres in sweltering heat. Up to about 3,000 is probably the limit where you want to be racing in anything over 27, 28 degrees. But it is Ben Buckingham, the Australian. He's made 19 steeplechaser just recently. He's run 3:39 for 1,500. He'll be there for a few laps before handing over to Wizarda, who's 27-25 10,000 metre runner this year. And it is Barega who slots straight into third place. Edris back in fifth place at the moment in the white vest. Cripper is just looking for Cripper. He's back in about ninth at the moment. One athlete moving down the outside past him. Gressier it is in sixth place for the French. Jimmy Gressier, who's a good athlete, 13:08 last year in Huelva in Spain. What he can produce tonight in front of a home crowd.
Well, Gressier again, one of the athletes put us into the media yesterday, talking very confidently. He said he feels fresh and mentally very, very good, looking for a good performance. Actually, thank the organisers for scheduling this race late in the programme, of course. No doubt about the conditions for him.
No extra weight on him, that's for sure. Goes through the bell at 63.2. Maybe he is feeling it. Loses a second or so there, but the gap is monstrous. Back to the battle for second between Diku Menayo and Edris, who has just eased into second place. That's the battle. There's no doubting that Barega with this run will be going to the World Championships as one of the very strong favourites, a stronger favourite. The world's best this season, 12:46. Is that in danger here as he has 200 metres to run?
Gressier meanwhile down the back straight, gaining on Edris, hasn't given up on third place, and the crowd down the back straight getting right behind the Frenchman.
Gressier in fourth place is going to run mighty fast. It could be under 13 minutes as Barega enters the straight and now starts working with the arms. His arm carriage has been so relaxed for the last 12 laps, and now he drives hard for the line. I still feel as though he's not giving it everything, but he crosses the line in 12:56. That's a great time from Barega. Edris will be second, just outside 13 minutes. It's going to be about 13:04, 13:05 for Edris. In fact, it was in duel with Menayo and Gressier there, about 13:10 for fourth place, with Edris back in third. It was, in fact, 12:56. He wins by some 9 seconds, does Selimon Barega. So there are two pacemakers due to take them round, funnily enough, at 60 seconds per lap tempo. So 7:30 is the slightly ambitious target. Kennedy Bekele holds the meeting record from a few years back now. Bekele 7:25. Bekele ran
but it was a long time ago now. The first pacemaker, Munir Akbash of France, will take them to 1,000 in 2:30, and then Kruger in second place to take them to 2 kilometers in 5 minutes exactly. Steve, a lot of the top Americans staying at home, keeping their powder dry. The top Kenyans, of course, many of them staying at home. Kiplimo, it'll be interesting to see how he goes here. Set a world record in Lisbon for the half marathon in November last year, 57 minutes. And then he won the Rome Diamond League back in 2020. But this year, on the track, an unknown force.
Yeah, nothing yet, Tim. He was meant to run Eugene. He pulled out of that. He then, I think that was more to do with fitness than anything else. Then he was meant to run Paris. He said he got sick. He pulled out of Paris. But he does come here, needing to race well. If he's going to go to the World Championships, like you said, Tim, and contend in the way which we would normally expect him to, he's got to do something here. Interestingly, you mentioned that race in Rome against Ingebrigtsen, that fantastic race that night, 7:26. His next best 3,000-meter time is 7:41 in a 2-mile race in Eugene. He doesn't do this distance very often. So I think something around 7:35 maybe for him would be a really good performance tonight.
And then you can see also Kemboy has moved up. Kemboy in third, Dickon Wenai fourth. Grijalva is back there. Watch him. Louis Grijalva, 12th in the Tokyo 5,000 meters for Guam, hanging on to this pack as they come to the bell.
But Kiplimo isn't slow. As I said, he has outkicked Ingebrigtsen in the past, but that's usually a long, hard kick, so this is what he's doing here. He's going for home early, but he knows he needs to keep winding it up and hope that his strength will take him there.
Well, McSwain, for the first time, getting a bit of help from somebody else in this second half of the race. Kiplimo has set himself up there now. Kemboy in second. McSwain, has he got the legs? Remember, Stewie McSwain last year ran a fabulous 3:29 for 1,500 metres. But is he in that sort of shape yet? 200 to run. Kemboy changes gear again, and Kemboy can't go with him. Neither can McSwain. Dickon Wenai moves round into second place, and Slabali, in fact, in second place. Kiplimo maybe recognised the danger there. Kicks again. Chasing hard is Kiplimo and Kimbro. But it's going brilliantly here. It's Kemboy. Oh my word, he staggers towards the line. And he couldn't hold it. He could not hold it. Dear, oh dear. Jacob Kiplimo, the legs going from under him. 7:29.49. I'll tell you what, that was an impressive final lap. He couldn't hold it there. The legs were going. Kemboy was there and Dickon Wenai was there. McSwain was falling backwards. That from Lobaloo. 7:29.48. It's the fastest time in the world this year.
So 7.5 laps of the track then. Who's it going to be who will push this on through the middle stages? And importantly, Steve, even if they get to halfway and anything close to 3:40, that third quarter is going to be the tough section. I think in the last lap and a half, you can get the bit between your teeth and you can push on, knowing the pain won't last much longer. It's that third quarter, which so often in the middle and the shorter long distances, if you know what I mean, is the testing patch of the race.
Yeah, I did raise my eyebrows chatting to Remy, the guy, the sort of meet organizer of the athletes and the one who sets all of this, and he said, right, Aragawi wants to go for 7:20, and I raised an eyebrow. Exactly the same thing that you're thinking there. And he said, well, we've got Sam Tanner, who's had such a great 1,500-metre season. He just ran 3:31, didn't he, at the Commonwealth Games? And he said if he can keep going beyond 1,500 metres, that's what you were saying, Tim, those hard laps. I'm just not sure. I'm like you. I'm thinking, how do you keep that going? Aragawi's very tired, but he's trying to keep this going, and that looks like a lead which he might be able to hold if he can just stay strong over the last 500.
He comes into the straight as Aragawi with 500 to run. He's maintained a good tempo. Behind him, the battle carries on. And Dickon Wenai in second place, Kropp in third. Aragawi coming to the bell there. 6:25, 6:26 at the bell, and going through and chasing hard now. With Dickon Wenai in second, and moving into third is Lobaloo, the world leader against the clock. He goes past Kropp. Fisher in fifth, it's moving really well into the back straight. Aragawi, with 300 to run, is now being chased down. The gap is closing all the time, and Dickon Wenai there.
looking strong. He has the bit between his teeth. So much easier to chase hard when you've got a target. The Burundian in second, 200 to run. The gap is down to about 600 metres, 60 metres, or 6 metres even, that's all. As they come into the final bend, Aragawi surely can hang on. If this would be cruel, it's now a race. Forget about record chasing. And Dickon Wanayo has got the bit between his teeth. Aragawi is fading, and it's going to be a win for the Burundian, there's no doubt about that. His best 7:34. It's going to be a massive chunk off that. It is a quick time, one of the quickest in history, 7:25. Aragawi in second place. That was so cool. He led for so much of the second half of the race when the pacemakers had gone. But the winning time there, well, quite spectacular. By Dickon Wanayo, 7:25.93. Steve, on the all-time list, that puts him in a rarefied atmosphere, up in the top half dozen of all time.
A couple of athletes there, just not quite sure how to stand on the start line, but they get underway. 12.5 laps of the track. That Daniel Komen meeting record 12:39 makes him the fourth fastest man in history. Joshua Cheptegei remembers the world record over that amazing 12:35 2 years back in Monaco. Now they need to go out here, well, in around 61 seconds per lap if they're going to get down there towards 12:40. The scheduled tempo is 2:34 for the first kilometres, and then rather bizarrely 2:31 for the second kilometre, because they want 5:05 at 2k. I don't quite get that. And then they want to hit 3,000 in 7:39. Well, that means you're down there in the 7:40 territory. 12:40 territory. Grijalva, an interesting athlete in the orange there in fourth place. He's really come on this last couple of years, Chris, and could be a threat here, certainly for a place in the top three. The man who at the moment is in fourth, hasn't raced in 6 weeks, so we can only assume comes into this fresh and ready.
Well, they're strung out already. Barely, 400 metres into this race. You can probably hear the accompaniment of a live band in the background. They're just going in front of them now, away to our left from our commentating position. But look at that Indian file already, 500 metres into this race.
Benyo, who is the Commonwealth Games silver medalist at 10,000 metres, had to let Krop go. And Krop now pouring on the pressure. Has the American got the speed here? The bell in around 11:49. The cameraman standing in front of the clock by the finish line. That doesn't help, but as Grant Fisher goes into the back straight, 300 metres to run, right on the shoulder of Krop, and Krop will know he's there. He will sense the American is there. Has he got the speed over this last 300?
Krop looks good, glancing up at the big scoreboard, but look at the expression on the face of Fisher. Fisher still believes he can get something out of this. Just a beater, barely a metre between the two, 200 to go.
Less than 200 to run then. Grant Fisher pumping hard with the arms as he comes round the bend for the final time, and Krop turns it up another notch, tries to break the American, and for the first time has daylight and eases away now. This isn't a sprint, this is a battle of survival, and Krop is the man who's going to survive best of them all. Watch the clock, it's fabulously quick. It's the fastest time in the world this year, 12:45.71, and Grant Fisher, probably half a second behind him, smashes the US record by something like 8 seconds. Incredible run. The rest of them pour across the line. Stewie McSweyn there of Australia has just gone under 13 minutes for the first time. I got him at about 12:58, but he's down the field in a truly remarkable 5,000 here in Brussels in the King Baudouin Stadium. And Krop had to work for that one, and you have to admire him. He did the hard work, and I love to see hard workers. I love to see front runners putting in the graft. I love to see them break opposition who sit on them and hope to kick past them. And Krop did just that tonight, Jacob Krop. Brilliant run from the 21-year-old Kenyan. World Championship silver medalist, winner here in Brussels.
How fitting, Tim. How fitting on the 25th anniversary of Daniel Komen breaking the world record here in this very, very stadium that we had such a special race. Krop brilliantly winning in 12:45.71, the fastest time in the world this year. It's a big personal best, but they will be going absolutely wild stateside because Grant Fisher has demolished the US record held by Bernard Lagat. He's locked, 7 seconds nearly off that US record held by Lagat. What a race and what a finish.